Flounder is a bottom-dwelling fish, living near the seabed, with a flat body and lopsided eyes on the same side of the head. They often hide in sand or mud, camouflaging themselves to hunt and avoid predators. Flounder fishing requires finesse, patience and a deep understanding of currents, seabed topography and the habits of this fish. Fishermen must grasp the right moment, usually early in the morning or late in the afternoon, when the flounder leave their hiding places to find food. The ship sets sail, heading towards the far sea where the bottom is flat and has many layers of sediment, an ideal environment for flounder to live. The sea breeze blows gently, carrying the salty taste of salt and moss. Seagulls fly around the ship, like familiar friends of the fisherman. A few swoop down close to the surface, looking for floating bait. On board, the fishermen are busy preparing hundreds of meters of fishing line. Sharp bait, usually small fish, squid or shrimp. When they reached the designated area, the boat slowed down, then stopped. The engine was turned off, returning the sea to silence. The fishermen began to cast their lines, each long line being lowered from the pulley, quietly sinking deep into the water. No one spoke much, only the soft hissing of the line and the sound of waves lapping against the side of the boat. After casting the lines, they waited patiently. Each slight vibration at the end of the line was a sign, either a fish biting or just a wave pushing. Experienced eyes would notice the difference immediately. When a flounder is hooked, it does not jerk violently like a pelagic fish. It just pulls the line down slowly, heavily and slowly. The angler must be patient and skillful, avoiding jerking so hard that the hook slips out of the fish's mouth. When pulled up, the flounder's body gradually appears in the water, large, flat, heavy and covered with a layer of fine sand. Each flounder can weigh from 2 to 30 kilograms, sometimes more. Large fish can be nearly a meter long, with a gray-brown body with natural patterns. Immediately after the fish are pulled up, the cleaning process takes place on the boat. Instead of waiting until they reach the dock, fishermen need to process the fish on the spot to keep it fresh. Especially especially when the trip lasts for many days. The flounder is placed on a prepared wooden table, washed with seawater. A fisherman uses a sharp knife to separate the thin scales, scrape off the mucus and mud on the outside. Then, they cut along the belly of the fish, carefully removing the organs so as not to break the gallbladder or intestines. Otherwise the bitter taste will seep into the fish meat. The white, firm and fragrant flesh of flounder is the prime. A fisherman. Cross-sections of the fish's body reveal firm muscles and clear veins. After cleaning, the fish are placed in large ice boxes, preserved at a natural cold temperature from seawater and crushed ice. Each box is marked with the fishing time and weight for easy sorting when arriving at port. The fish cleaning process on the boat takes place continuously, alternating with the dropping and pulling of fishing lines. Groups of fishermen take turns working, keeping a steady pace without anyone getting exhausted. On the boat, the smell of fresh fish mixed with the smell of engine oil and sea salt creates a very unique aroma, the smell of labor, of the sea, and of fishermen's lives. And so, the trip lasts from early morning until sunset, or sometimes all night if the catch is not enough. The sunset turns the sea red. Each last fish is pulled up, cleaned, and neatly arranged in the cold compartment. The fishermen wipe their sweat with their sleeves. Smiles clearly visible on their strong faces. At sea, there is nothing more precious than a successful day of fishing. Enough to feed the family. Enough to give them the motivation to go out to sea again tomorrow. When the ship turned back, the night sky was covered in a deep purple color. The moonlight reflected on the sparkling sea like silver. The tired birds returned to shore, and the ship quietly entered the night, carrying the fruits from the ocean. In the hold, the boxes of halibut were neatly arranged, clean, and carefully preserved, the result of the fishermen's hard work, experience, and intense love for the sea. It is the endless cycle of people living with the sea. They do not only fish for halibut to make a living, they also clean, preserve, and maintain the value of each fish, as if each fish were a part of their own lives. The sea is where they make a living, and where they place their faith and hope, and where whether tomorrow has big waves or calm weather, they will still set sail, on a journey to fish for halibut that never stops when the ship docked. The sun was already rising over the horizon. Women were waiting on the shore with carts, fish baskets, and tarpaulins lined with ice. The flounder were carefully unloaded, each one still fresh, its skin glistening in the early morning sun. A few traders quickly selected recorded the weight, and bargained on the spot. The larger fish were transported by refrigerated trucks to processing plants, restaurants, or exported to Western and Asian countries. At the coastal factory, the processing continued with the help of modern machinery. However, it was the initial cleaning on board that helped preserve the quality of the fish. The white, lean, mild-flavored flounder meat was very popular. It could be filleted, frozen, or packaged in individual portions for supermarkets. restaurants, or industrial kitchens. Others would be dried, salted, or smoked using traditional methods. The story of halibut is not just about food. It is a journey, from the sea to the table, that reflects the spirit of work, skills and culture of coastal communities. In each piece of halibut is the saltiness of sweat, of the sea breeze and of love for the country. And behind each fish are the faces of fishermen. That have written the story in the vast ocean. And then, when the morning light once again covers the sea with gold, the ships continue to set sail. A new journey begins. The children of the sea never rest. They quietly move towards the horizon, carrying with them hope, experience and belief that the next halibut is waiting. At the bottom of the vast ocean as the sun began to set behind the thin clouds on the horizon. The golden light shone on the sea, making each wave sparkle like gold. The boat still drifted gently with the current. The fishermen still worked tirelessly, each one taking on their own tasks skillfully, as if they had all been programmed to follow a common rhythm. The newly caught flounders were still breathing heavily, their eyes unconsciously looking up at the sky, and each one was passed through the on-site processing line. On the deck, a specially designed cleaning area was created. There was stainless steel tables that were constantly rinsed with seawater to ensure cleanliness and no contamination. The fishermen used specialized knives, with thin blades but as sharp as razors, to quickly cut open the bellies of each flounder. Under the fluorescent lights, each slice revealed a layer of fresh, pinkish-white meat, without a trace of blood clots. The fish's viscera are carefully removed and placed in a special tank, then transferred to the sorting area for use. As bait or biofertilizer. Without any waste, seawater is continuously pumped in from the side of the ship to clean each fish after being cut open. A high-pressure hose continuously sprays onto the surface of the table and the tank, keeping everything fresh and hygienic. The cleaned fish are neatly arranged on stainless steel trays, then quickly taken down to the freezer below. There is a deep freezing system at -40 degrees Celsius, helping the fish to retain their freshness as if they were just caught. Every time the freezer door is opened, cold air billows out, as if it were another world inside the ship. Meanwhile, at the bow of the ship, another group of fishermen are checking and changing the bait for the long fishing rods. The bait is carefully selected, usually small fish or cut squid, something that Flounder especially loves. They tied the bait with a small, sturdy wire, then carefully dropped it into the sea, waiting for the next fish to bite. They understood the habits of Flounder, a fish that likes to hide in the mud and sand at the bottom, only emerging to hunt when it feels safe in the control room. The captain still carefully monitored every signal. He commanded the team via intercom, instructing when to drop the line, when to pull in the line, and even when to pause to wait for the tide to change. On deck, The fisherman took the opportunity to sip hot coffee. Wipe the sweat off their foreheads, and then get back to work. They did not need reminders or encouragement, because it was their belief in the profession. In each full catch of fish, that kept them at sea throughout the rainy and sunny seasons. The night sky gradually cleared. The stars twinkled from east to west. At times, a Milky Way appeared clearly in the dark sky, like a vivid picture that no photographer could fully recreate. The fishermen, despite their busy schedules, still occasionally looked up to watch the stars, as if to remember where they were, and why they chose to stick with the sea. On the water, the reflected lights created shimmering streaks of light, rippling gently like the lullaby of the ocean. The ship's whistle sounded, signaling a new batch of fish had just been pulled up from the deep sea. The fishermen quickly gathered on the aft deck, where large flounders were pulled up from the sea one by one. Some were nearly a meter long, weighed more than 10 kilos.